Hello everybody, my name is Richard Taylor. I'm a youth worker with the Dunbar Area Christian Youth Project. I've been working in this town for 18 years now, and most of my work is school-based. I would say that, first of all, I'm not an expert in this field, but I am experienced in it. And take from that whatever you want. There are two aspects to my work in school. One is to contribute to the religious moral education curriculum, or RME, but the other part of the work is the pastoral support, and in particular with a focus on helping young people with their mental health. That's in the primary school, but also in the other cluster primary schools in Dunbar and in the grammar school. So the Dunbar Area Christian Youth Project it employs myself as a full-time youth worker, and we also have an admin worker. But the rest of the work is organised and run by volunteers. The majority of the volunteers are people that we have connections with through the local churches, and then we've also got a handful of people from the Rotary Club as well who have heard about what we're doing. So what we have is a team of volunteers who become we haven't actually got a name for it, but kind of a classroom buddy, if you like, a friend of the class. And what they all do is come in and do paired reading and numeracy support work. That's the kind of core of it. Most of the volunteers would give perhaps 2 hours a week. They'd work out a time that suits them and the teacher and works best for both parties. And what happens is that because they're allocated to a class, they get to know the children, they get to know the characters in there, and although they're there often to do the kind of curriculum stuff, what we find is that they get to know them, and as they're doing the reading, for example, the children, they'll start to tell them about the families, and they'll start to share with them some of the struggles that they're going through, and of course that in itself is a massive big help to them. It's pastoral care, it's pastoral support, it's an adult who's invested and interested in them. And for some of them, they might be one of the few adults in their lives who do care. We also have some volunteers, and I do this myself as well, running small groups in the school. Seasons for Growth is a fantastic programme. It's a tool to help children and young people deal with loss, bereavement, and unwanted changes in their lives. So by that, we mean things like parents splitting up, things that are happening in their lives that they have no control over. So the programme has been a huge, huge help to those young people. And it's been a help to the school as well, because it means that they've got something in place to offer when a young person is struggling with those kind of things. It is quite expensive. You have to train people to facilitate it. Maybe, I don't know, £200 or £300 to do that. What you might be able to find, as we did, is that the parent council are prepared to fund that. The other small groups that we do in school are check-in groups. It's maybe about 6 or 7 children in each group. What's good about a check-in group is that the people facilitating it don't necessarily have to have any qualifications in mental health, but what they can bring to it is experience. So, some of the volunteers that come in have had life experience. Most of our volunteers are retired folk. They've brought up their own children. They've had their children's friends round, and they know what it's like for young people growing up. So it is, I would say, a really accessible way of supporting schools. The positive thing about check-in groups, and in fact the Seasons for Growth and the Classroom Friends, is that when we do those groups, we often find that the young people will share with us things that they haven't shared with any other adult. And so we have an open relationship with the staff. We feed back to them anything that's come up in discussion. And what we often find is that we join the dots. So, a child might have been behaving in a particular way in class that the teacher can't understand, and then they'll come to a check-in group and all will be revealed. They might have been having a family argument or something that they've not been able to talk about to the teacher. I'd like to talk now about the work that we do in Dunbar Grammar School, where we run a young men's mental health group. Andy's Man Club is a mental health group for men, and it was set up to help reduce male suicide. And it's a peer-to-peer support group, so the men sit in a group together and confidentially, without judgment, share. And then I got a call from a guidance teacher at the high school who said, I've heard about Andy's Man Club. Would it be possible to run it in the high school? Because we're getting a number of young men who are really struggling with mental health and we're concerned about their safety. Is it possible to run a group in the school? So the answer was not an Andy's Man Club. We can't use that name because that's an over 18s organisation. But what we could do is use the same model and bring that into the school environment. And so what I did was I rounded up a team of volunteers, all men from the local churches. And then through the guidance team, we identified young men who were struggling with their mental health. The venue for that is the local church stables, which is just across the road from the school. So, less than 5 minutes walk from the school and you're in the stables. It's discreet, it's not in school, and it's a lovely little meeting space. The pilot project went really well. What we found was that the lads began to talk about their feelings for the first time, and the feedback from them was that this is something they enjoyed. We had around about 30 lads that asked to come to the group, and so we ended up splitting it. We ended up with 2 groups that met on the same day, and that has continued to where we are today. I have to say, people have this romantic idea that a lads group like that is everybody fully engaged with it. I'm afraid not. I mean, we have a cushion that we use to speak through, and if you're holding the cushion, you only speak. So, have you got anything to get off your chest? No, pass it on, pass it on, pass it on. And then maybe the 6th or the 7th one will pause and say, well, I have actually. My mum and dad are arguing, and I'm really, really struggling. I'm worried that my dad's going to leave us. And then all of a sudden, you get all the boys listening in, and then maybe a couple more later, somebody else will share something else. But then in between those conversations, there'll be football results, and there'll be somebody had a burger that was undercooked, or just trivial things that perhaps are more important to them than they are to us. One of the things that we're really excited about with the lads group is that we've got a new development with it, which is some of the older lads leading a group for the younger lads in S2. So S4 boys facilitating a group for S2s. We've just started that. We've been running it for, I think, 3 sessions now. And it's just so encouraging to see these lads facilitate and these younger lads learning how to share and to talk about their feelings.